Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Madison Heights Community Roundtable, we welcome you to our Meet the Candidates event. Just to let you know, we are recording this event, and tomorrow you can sign on to stpats.mh.org, and there will be a link for a YouTube link, and you can then see this event. And also, we are being live streamed by Doug McLean, and he is on Facebook. And if you need to get in touch with Doug, you can do Doug_MAC_Lean, L-E-A-N, at Hotmail. Thank you very much. The order tonight will be that each candidate will have 3 minutes to present their platform. Time cards will be held up, so you will know when your time starts and ends. We do give warnings, so you'll know when you're close to your end of time. We have also passed out to the audience blank cards to write down questions for the candidates. These can be written to one candidate or a general question to all of them. After the presentations, we will read the questions and then give the candidate a minute to answer. Now, I would like to begin with Mr. Mark Ambrose, representative in Congress, the 11th District.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining tonight and participating and hearing what all the candidates have to say. I've got to tell you, I'm very happy that I'm the first one up tonight. Last week, I had to give a speech, and I immediately followed Herschel Walker. So I drew the short straw. Nobody wanted to listen to me after Herschel Walker spoke. So wanted to just mention why I decided to run. I'll give a little bit about my background, and if we have time, I'll go into a few priorities I would have in Congress. So why I decided to run. I'm father of 3. All of our kids suffered during the pandemic. They lost learning, they lost opportunities for socializing, kids retreated to their rooms. One of my children in particular suffered. So I have a son, Patrick, who's autistic. And one day, about 7 months in the pandemic, and this is well after we had decided that we were done with flattening the curve, and well after we knew that generally kids weren't transmitting to teachers, I came home and Patrick was lying on our kitchen floor doing sit-ups in front of a laptop computer for his Zoom physical education class. And I thought, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but I had no power to change it, right? And so the governor or the health department or different authorities were making decisions for my child where the legislature had no role in it. And I wanted to make sure that I was going to be part of it, changing that, making sure the legislature sets the rules by which we live. So a little bit of background on me. So I grew up in this area in Bloomfield Township, went to Brother Rice High School, then attended West Point, and served as an officer in the Army, a tank officer over in Korea, back here in the US, and even spent some time at the southern border when I was in the Army Reserve. Following that, I went to grad school in New York at Columbia for an MBA, and then also received something called a Master of International Affairs with a specialty in Russian area studies. Worked in banking for about 24 years, and I'm a chartered financial analyst, so I have quite a bit of background on inflation. And I say those things not to put you to sleep, but I just want you to know that I have a background in some of those pressing issues of the day. So 3 priorities really quickly. So I want to address inflation. We did not need to be here at this level. This is bad policy. It was not inevitable where we are. So we voted for these reckless spending packages. We decided to stop development of fossil fuels in our country. And we also decided that the Federal Reserve was not going to do its job and raise interest rates little by little when they should have. We need to stop that. My time at the southern border, I saw the violence that our porous border invites. We need to make sure we secure the southern border. I'm a big proponent of legal immigration, but we need to know who's coming in and allow those people to follow a process. Third, we need to make sure that we have a military that is so strong and has well-resourced that it'll never be challenged. And finally, I want to dedicate resources to finding a cure for autism. This is a plague that our country cannot afford to have anymore. It has been growing at just an exponential rate in the last few years. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. Our website is voteambrose.com. And do I answer questions now, or is that at the end? Okay, perfect. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone.
Next, we will have Thomas Kuhn, who is representative in state legislature 57th district.
Hi, and again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. My name is Tom Kuhn, and I'm running for state representative in the new 57th district, which includes one precinct in Madison Heights, precinct 7. And I've served our community as an elected representative for 28 years at the local level. I served 12 years at the city level, 12 at the community college, and 4 at the county. This service to the community has given me extensive knowledge and deep perspective about the many of the critical issues facing our state. During the 12 years on the community college board, we experienced how much our K-12 education system needs significant reform. We need to make sure that all students are reading at grade level and are able to move ahead to post-secondary education, vocational education, or meaningful employment after graduation from high school. Unfortunately, too many kids are being left behind. We need to provide more intensive testing on reading levels and provide parents more options for dealing with children below grade level or who have disabilities. During my 4 years at the county government, I've seen how the state has seriously underfunded our local police and road and sewer infrastructure. State funding for police training is a high priority. We also need to have improved funding for our local roads and sewers and water supply. So I've dealt with these important issues at the local level for many years, and I would like to be part of the solution for these long-standing problems at the state level. I would also like to improve openness and accountability in our government at all levels. It's critically important for our citizens to know about how their governments initiate and develop policies. I will work to support financial disclosure by elected officials, as well as expansion of the citizens' right to know through the Freedom of Information Act and Open Meetings Act. I will work on educational reform as well as support for police and infrastructure. I also believe we must improve our justice system. I support enhanced victims' rights legislation to protect the rights of victims of crime and improve criminal justice. We need to divert nonviolent offenders with mental health and substance abuse problems to the appropriate treatment centers. So this state faces many important issues that impact all our citizens. As state representative, I hope I can help improve the quality of life for all our citizens. Thank you.
And next we will have Aisha Faruqi. She is the 57 state legislature representative. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Aisha Faruqi, and I am running for state representative in Michigan House District 57, which is comprised of Western Sterling Heights, Eastern Troy, and Precinct 7 in Madison Heights. You know, my family and I moved to this country because my parents knew that their 2 daughters would be provided with opportunities here that no other nation could offer. Here in the land of opportunity, no dream was too big and anything was possible. And in many ways, my family and I were able to experience the American dream. I am an attorney. I have been serving my clients for the past 6 years now. I currently serve on the Zoning Board of Appeals for the city of Sterling Heights. And one of the reasons I'm running for office is because I want to give back to the community that has given me and my family everything. Some of the issues that are really important to me are economic development. I think everybody's suffering from inflation these days. In addition, I would love to improve our infrastructure, safeguard our water, and making sure that public school funding is adequate and equitable is also incredibly important to me. I thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And next we will have Mike McFall, representative in state legislature, 8th district.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike McFall, and I'm running for House District 8. House District 8 comprises of most of Madison Heights, Hazel Park, a precinct of Ferndale, Detroit, Highland Park, and then more of Detroit goes all the way down to Canfield, which is basically the Majestic Theater. I'm currently a city council member in Hazel Park. I'm the mayor pro tem of Hazel Park. I graduated from Central Michigan University with a BS in community development and public administration. So a little bit about my background is I grew up in the Flint area. My dad is UAW member, local 599 in Flint. He worked for about 40 years on the line, and now he's retired. So unions got me to where I am. Without a union, I don't know where I would be. So some of my priorities, in 2020, a member of my family had a mental health crisis, spent the night in jail, was never charged because there were no beds available in any facilities. So he's doing better now, but one of the things I would like to do is improve our mental health care here in Michigan. The pandemic exacerbated it, and I'm sure everyone's family has been affected by it. We shouldn't be using our police departments and our judiciary, to solve this problem, because sometimes, even though he wasn't charged, oftentimes they are, and now their problems are much worse because now they're in the system. So something else, I'm a big proponent of entrepreneurship, small businesses. I spearhead Main Street Hazel Park. I'm not sure if many of you have been down John R. in Hazel Park. A lot of the new development is a direct result of that. It's a city commission that I started actually before I was on city council in Hazel Park. And then once I was on council, we turned it into a commission, a city commission where we appoint business leaders from our community. So all of that economic development, again, is a direct result of that. Something else that is near and dear to my heart is revenue sharing. Revenue sharing from the state, the Michigan Municipal League ranks us close to the bottom. We're at number 48 out of all 50 states as to the amount of money that is sent back to local municipalities. It has dwindled year after year. And so I always give the example, like in Hazel Park, we have to have fundraisers to put new park equipment into a park because the city itself cannot afford it. But we're all paying taxes, and that should be paid for with your taxes, because that's one of the things a city should be providing. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. I look forward to all your questions. Thank you.
Let's do Mr. Robert Noble, our representative in state legislature, 8th district. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Rob Noble, and I'm running for state rep in District 8. And Mr. McFall told you exactly what that entails, what cities. So I'm not going to go over that. My wife, Lisa, and I have been residents of Madison Heights since 2009. And Lisa's in her 30th year teaching kids in Berkeley schools, teaching art, K through 8th grade. So believe me, education is one of my top priorities, and taking care of our teachers is right up there with it. I'm a small business owner, and the economy is hurting me pretty good. Before that, I spent 20 years in finance. I'm a Christian. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, and I'm a former Cook County, Illinois deputy sheriff. Got the scars to prove it, and I'll tell you what, I'm your law and order candidate. Crime is a big priority of mine. It's going up really big right here in Madison Heights and everywhere else in this area, and it's statewide, so we have to control it, and especially gun crime, and I have a plan to do that also. I'm not a politician. It's my first election. I never ran for one, so I am you. And, we get too caught up with Democrats and Republicans and that nomenclature. And, the bottom line is real simple. Who has the best ideas and who will represent what you believe is the best direction for this state? I got off the couch to do this because I saw what was happening in Lansing during the pandemic. The governor, taking away our civil liberties and going fascist on us by removing the legislative process, which is what America's about. And I got pretty disgusted by that. I saw what my wife had to deal with when her school classroom came into our house, and I see the parents open their eyes when their kids' classrooms came to their kitchen tables also. So saw a lot of woke nature going on there. And, that made me get off the couch and try to do something. I'm not a politician. Like I said, I'm you. There's no ulterior motives here. And the only thing I can say is this. I took an oath twice in my lifetime to defend this Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic. And I think we do have a domestic enemy happening right here in a certain culture. I took it twice. The only thing I pray is that you'll give me the opportunity to renew that oath one more time when you elect me on November 8th. Go to my website, www.nobleforstaterep.com. I give you problems, I give you solutions. And that's transparency. You know exactly where I'm coming from. So ladies and gentlemen, vote for Rob Noble, and together we're going to do something great. Well, let's make Michigan better together, and we can do it all. There's literature in the back, and I have signs in my truck also. Thank you.
And next, we will have Gary McGillivray. He is in the 3rd District County Commissioner.
Hello, everyone. Gary McGillivray. I think I know a lot of you folks in the room here. My past is I've served on city council for many years, about 24 years, I think. I was the total there, and now 12 years at the county commission. I'm involved with a lot of stuff in the community, have been all my life. Since I moved to Madison Heights, I grew up in Royal Oak. And I think a lot of you know my family members. My wife was a member of the Women's Club here in Madison Heights, and my daughter, who's very active and a teacher in the Lamphere district, and my son, who kind of runs the parade, getting everything set up. So I would appreciate your vote. I have a couple passions, and that is parks is one, and local communities. And the reason I say that is so many of our tax dollars get routed to the northern part of the county, and particularly when it comes to parks. I understand there's not parkland available in the south end of the county so much, but we got good news coming. We're going to add some parks in the south end of the county. We've been working real hard for the last 9 months, so hopefully we can get that done soon. So I would appreciate your vote. If you're interested in the sign, let me know. I got some in my car. Thanks.
And next, we will have Mr. Ronald Dwyer, County Commissioner, 3rd District.
Good evening, everyone, and I want to thank the Women's Club of Madison Heights for hosting this good event and allowing the people here and those watching online a chance to get to know the candidates whom they're voting for. A little bit about me, like Ms. Farouk. I was born here, but I'm actually the first generation of an immigrant as well. My mother came from war-torn Europe, East Germany. And my grandfather, God rest his soul, worked hard in this country. They came here with just a suitcase, and he worked hard, worked for the automotive industry, became a UAW member. So we come from a union family. Even though I'm running on the Republican ticket, I support the auto workers. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to run. But before I do that, I'm gonna tell a little bit more about me. I am a lifelong Oakland County resident. I've lived in Oakland County my entire life, grew up in Bloomfield Township, have lived in the city of Troy for the last 27 years. I'm involved in various activities, including some interfaith groups, as we're trying to welcome new legal immigrants and make them feel comfortable here. I'm very active in a group down in the Dearborn Heights area called DAME, which is an interfaith and immigrant group. So that's how I get involved with the community, trying to make new immigrants feel welcome, since my mother was an immigrant. I grew up, like I said, in Oakland County, went to school at every level here in Oakland County. I'm a 30-year independent insurance agent, so I know things about legal liability and legal contracts. That would be one of my qualifications for Oakland County Commissioner. The other thing is I'm also a real estate agent, so I know how to negotiate and get the best deal. But I'm also a small business owner. I own a janitorial company that we have clients in multiple states, and we do government bids, so I know how the process works. And my goal is to work with the community to get the best rate. I am running because, like I said, automotive. The current commission just voted to give $3 million to the World Economic Forum and the world economic of our tax dollars. And Madison Heights, you guys have, I'm surprised your tax rate is higher than us in Troy when I look at it. So we're just going to be adding to your taxes. And the World Economic Forum says that there's too many automobiles in the world. Hello, this is the Motor City. This is where we build automobiles. We have so many automobile suppliers. I bet many of you here either work for an automobile supplier or have family that does. So if we start shrinking down our automobile production, that is going to be a loss of jobs. The other thing I'm running on is law enforcement. Troy and Madison Heights have probably the two best city police departments in this area. And did you know that the Oakland County Commission shortchanged Mike Bouchard's Sheriff Department by $1.5 million? I'll tell you more in my next go around. If you want to know more, ronforoakland.com. Thank you very much.
And now via Zoom, we have Anthony Austin, Lamphere School Board Member.
Okay, first of all, thank you to the Madison Heights Community Roundtable for having me and the other candidates. From talking to other candidates that are running for our school board, I know Lamphere the community is going to be in great hands. I am deeply committed to the educational, professional, and personal development as well as safety of our students. And Lamphere has done a great job in trying to make sure we move our students into that 21st century and continue to make them both professionally and personally being able to compete on a global scale. I'm running to continue that success, as well as the work that Lamphere is continuing to improve and to guarantee our students those life goals. I have actively supported the Lamphere School District and the Madison Heights community for over 18 years, and in various volunteer initiatives such as the community coaching, as well as being in city chair committee roles, as well as public address announcing, which I will be trying to get back to announce the football game tomorrow and the band invitational on Saturday. I've also, my family, we've lived in Madison Heights for 22 years, and I've served the Lamphere School Board the past 6 years in various roles as trustee, vice president, and in the last 2 years of challenging years as board president. I have a lot of experience, both professionally. I'm a former military officer. I was a former company commander, holding the rank of captain, serving for our country, and also was the first director of information management overseas. I bring a skill set. I also have 368 training hours with the Michigan Association of School Boards with a master designation. With all of these different skill sets that I bring and continue to work within the community, I believe I have the professional, communication, community, and educational skill set needed to serve the Lamphere community. I would like you for your vote and be able to come back and to continue that effort in serving a great district and our kids and our students, and as well as our teachers of the Lamphere School District. So I thank you for having me this evening.
And next we will have Paul Cavanaugh, Lamphere School Board.
Hello, I'm Paul Cavanaugh, running for Lamphere School Board, running for my 4th term. I've been on the board for 14 years. My wife and I, Julie and I, have lived in Madison Heights for 37 years. We've got 5 kids, 5 grown kids who have all been through the Lamphere school system, K through 12, all grown, successful, healthy, happy adults. I have, in my 14 years of the board, I have also achieved a level 4 master board status by the Michigan Association of School Boards. And I have a bachelor's degree in education from Western Michigan University. I have approximately 10 years of teaching experience and over 20 years of experience as a facilities manager, and a construction manager, construction project manager. I believe it gives me a good combination of experience and skill that I can bring to that I have brought and can continue to bring to Lamphere regarding student welfare, curriculum development, and just capital asset management. One of the things that I was always impressed by in Lamphere as my kids went through and saw in sharper focus as a board member is the opportunity available to kids. First of all, everything we do, everything we talk about, the money we spend is always kids first. It's always about the kids. And the opportunities that I saw my kids have and that I see, and that we've created even more opportunity through AP classes, through clubs, through robotics, through sports, through drama clubs, things like that. If you want to do something, if you're a student at Lamphere, if you want to try something, it's available for you to try. I guess that's it. That's all.
And next we will hear from Dedra LeSage, Lamphere School.
Hi there, good evening. Thank you, Madison Heights Community Roundtable, for sponsoring this evening. My name is Dedra LeSage and I'm running for Lamphere School Board. My daughter Meredith is a 7th grader at Page Middle School, so I have a personal interest in preserving and growing the quality of education that Lamphere offers. Professionally, I'm an accounting administrator for 3 companies. Before that, I was a district manager for News Corp. So in my professional life, I manage budgets, I creatively solve problems, and I interact with people from all over the world. My first interaction with the Lamphere district was in March of 2015 when I attended kindergarten roundup for my daughter. And the principal at that time, Mrs. Stevens, gave us new parents some advice that still sticks with me. It doesn't matter a child's background. If their parents are involved, they will do better. So I became involved. I served as the PTO vice president for 5 years. I applied and secured a $5,000 grant for our media center remodel. I chaired many events like the Pancakes with Santa breakfast and the end of the school year picnic. I was also a Girl Scout leader for 2 Lamphere schools, and we did community projects like painting the hydrants and making blankets for the Children's Miracle Network and collecting items for the city pantry. The 3 areas that I would work on if elected would be the mental health of our students. 20% suffer from some sort of mental illness, anxiety, depression, but less than half will get the help that they need. I will work hard for every student to make sure that they have access to the tools they need. Teacher retention is another option or another thing that we need to work on. It's nationwide, and we need to come up with a creative idea to retain and keep our teachers. And then third, as post-secondary options for our students. So after high school, I went to college. My husband did not. He went to work for an HVAC company and he earned certifications as he worked. So he's a successful HVAC technician without a student loan payment. So knowing that firsthand, that's something that I would like to bring as an option for our Lamphere students. I've been working with local tradesmen and unions to come up with options. And I recently toured the Southeast Michigan Construction Academy right here in Madison Heights. They have 7 empty classrooms and a workshop during the day. I want to see our juniors and seniors in there learning a trade and getting a great start for their future. Thank you for your time. I hope I have your vote on November 8th.
And next we will have Ryan McCann, Lamphere Schools.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan McCann, and I'm running for re-election to the Lamphere School Board. First off, like everyone else said, thank you to the Madison Heights Roundtable for hosting tonight, and thank you to everyone who is here in attendance. So just want to share why I'm running for re-election. But first off, a little bit of a background on me. I've been married to my wife, Becky, for 19 years. It'll be 20 years next year. We've been residents of Madison Heights for over 20 years. So we moved here in 2002, and we thought maybe we'd move somewhere else soon thereafter, but here we are. We put our roots down here, and We really love it. So we have two children, both attending Lamphere schools. Our son Nolan, who's 15, is a sophomore at Lamphere High School. And our daughter Meryl is 13, and she's an 8th grade student at Page Middle School. About myself, a little bit, I have a bachelor's degree from Michigan State University. It's surprising, but I've got over 24 years of professional experience working with and for small companies, big companies, anything from 40 people, 40 employees up to GM. And I've worked for a few other places that fit in between that. So for the past 5 years, I've been an Agile coach, working with the Rocket family of companies. And in this role, I've had the privilege of teaching and coaching and really curating safe spaces for teams to explore and learn and adopt new ways of working, more effective ways of working. So why am I running for school board? Both of my parents were educators and administrators in public education, and my passion for public education runs really deep. And lifelong learning and being a lifelong learner really runs deep with me. I just think it's part of my DNA. And being a school board member, right, gets me closer to the schools where my children are at, and allows me to have some level of impact and insight and influence in terms of what's going on. So over the past 6 years, I've had the privilege of serving alongside my fellow board members. It's been, right, the last couple of years especially have been difficult to navigate, right? It's impossible to make everyone happy, but I'm proud of what we've done. There's a flyer in the back with myself and Mr. Cavanaugh, Mr. Austin on it. We're running for re-election, but on the back, you'll see some things just highlighting what curriculum things have been put into place during our time on the board. And I'm just proud of things like the robotics program. There's been a massive increase in support and participation for this program. I think it teaches really, really great skills from like just an art and science perspective. We've got phenomenal science going on at the elementary school level. And then we have inquiry journeys at the elementary level and inquiry perspectives at the middle school level. I think all getting out of like rote memorization, really teaching kids the skills that they need for life, right? To operate once they get out of school. So I'm confident I have the skills and experience. And I hope that, I'll continue to advocate for our students and our staff. And I hope that you'll vote for me on November 8th. Thank you.
And next, we have David Woodward, who is going to speak about the public transportation millage.
So great being here. I see some familiar friends. I had the great honor of representing Madison Heights in the state legislature many years ago. Someone at a League of Women Voters yesterday reminded me that was almost 20 years ago. The greatest show. It's great to be with everyone here. Thank you for hosting this forum. I'm here to talk about the Oakland County Public Transportation Millage that's on your ballot. I'm proud to say that this proposal is on the ballot as a result of a tremendous amount of work that is a result of bipartisan support to put the question before voters, how to improve public transportation here in Oakland County. I want to talk specifically about how it relates to Madison Heights. I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to go into the components as it relates to what's contained in the proposal, and if the voters approve, what it actually does. For Madison Heights and the greater area that's actually part of the current smart millage, this proposal replaces that millage. It replaces that millage at a lower rate. It actually is a tax cut that results in better service. And how does it result in better service? It's better service in the form of increased frequency, increased access to destinations, increased paratransit, which is your traditional schedule ahead senior and people with disabilities transit to schedule to get generally to healthcare, but also to other destinations, as well as microtransit, which is a more on-demand service and that is growing, and that SMART is committed to expanding across its footprint. Madison Heights and Oakland County and the areas that have been participating in SMART the last many decades have been general large supporters of it. This is a proposal to replace that current service at a lower rate. It actually amounts to a slight tax cut where all of Oakland counties participate. So what does it do? It's actually pretty simple. It does three things. One, it maintains current funding for all public transit across Oakland County. Not just the SMART area. Here in this area, we know that it's SMART. But when you go to the north, you go to the west, you've got some smaller transit agencies, the Older Persons Commission, some people might know in the Rochester Hills, and Oakland Township area provides senior transit and transportation for people with disabilities. It provides funding at the current level that they are paying today. The North Oakland Transportation Authority, they provide transit service in the the Orion Township, Oxford, and Addison Township areas. And then to the west, Waterford, White Lake, and Highland Township areas has what's known as the Western Oakland Transportation Authority. This proposal starts with fully funding all of those operations at the current level that they are currently operating under. The next piece, which to me is the most important part, is expansion of service and improvement of service. What does that look like? For this area, increased frequency, more flex service. The flex service is the micro transit, more on demand within the hour to be able to get people to one place or the other. There are 3 pilots currently in operation in Oakland County in the SMART area, as well as filling the gaps that currently exist in transit and filling the areas that don't have access to reliable transit, ultimately to get people from where they need to go. The proposal amounts to 0.95. Again, for Madison Heights, that is actually a tax reduction under the current level that we are paying for the current service, spanned over 10 years. And the third piece, it comes down to funding infrastructure, newer vehicles, technology, and the other types of infrastructure that's necessary to improve transit across the area. At the end of the day, that this proposal seeks to help get patients to healthcare, to get workers to jobs, to get students to education, and anybody else who chooses to be able to use it. Again, in Madison Heights, this is actually maintaining and improving service at a lower rate that we're currently are paying today, where Madison Heights voters have overwhelmingly north of 70% of support have supported the SMART renewal. There is not a SMART renewal on the ballot, and if you read the ballot language, it's very clear that this millage proposal actually reduces the rate and fully replaces the funding for that service. And so that's the question. It was put on the ballot with bipartisan support. It has bipartisan support across this county, support from our hospital systems, our job clusters, and ultimately helps get more people from point A to point B, particularly for those who have no other options or other choices. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next we will have the questions. The current SMART millage is about 1 mil. This Oakland County millage is 0.95 mil. So most communities would see a tax decrease, yes?
Yes.
And what about Madison Heights?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, yes to both.
That's good.
Thank you. This is for the board, people running for the board of the Madison Heights schools. What would you do to harmonize the board in the district?
I would like to answer that.
Okay, Mr. Austin.
Well, if the question is, what do we do to harmonize the board? In the we've been blessed in Lamphere schools in this district. There is harmony. And one thing, as far as if there's any discord, and we haven't, in my 6 years of being on the board, we have not. Everyone has different personalities. One of the things that I've been blessed to be board president is to be able to facilitate amongst the leadership and amongst the different board members, to be able to take their skill sets and be able to combine those. So as far as harmony on the board, there is harmony right now. There's always room for improvement, but as a former board president, to have the opportunity and the skill set to facilitate all those leaders is what I do and what I've done in the past.
David Woodward. The Madison Heights Active Adult Center currently receives 3 vehicles and over $80,000 from the SMART millage to run their transportation program. The Oakland County millage would take over that SMART millage. If Oakland County millage doesn't pass, what happens to SMART millage and funding for the Madison Heights transportation?
And so there's two questions there. One, if voters pass it, it fully funds all the services. Okay, on the microphone. If voters approve the millage, all the current funding for SMART in the Oakland County area is fully maintained. And so all services remain. If the millage didn't pass, it would be as if SMART no longer has funding. And so all the things that follow as a result of that. And that is a terrible situation in my mind, because we need transportation. We need to get patients to healthcare, workers to jobs. Programs like this that actually help fund those things need to be able to be maintained. And so the only way to maintain it is that we actually have funding for those things. Because this millage replaces that is why it's absolutely necessary that this gets replaced. Again, I want to underscore, this is renewing. I mean, it's not a renewal because it's not the SMART millage. It is a replacement at a lower rate, at a lower tax rate for Madison Heights.
Thank you. So I have a question for Thomas and Aisha Faruqi. What is your, hold on, I just lost it. Please define your position on reproductive freedom.
Thank you for the question. I believe that private medical decisions should be between an individual and their physician without any governmental interference. Thank you.
Thank you for this question. As an elected legislator, I swear to affirm the state and federal constitutions. Under our state constitution, our courts have said that there is a right to abortion, and I will absolutely follow the Constitution. Thank you.
Back to David Woodward. What position, if any, what position, if any, does SEMCOG and the Michigan Municipal League take on any of these proposals?
Great question. I don't believe that they've weighed in on us, the Michigan Municipal League or SEMCOG. SEMCOG is a regional planning organization for a lot of local governments. What I can say, SEMCOG, we've worked very closely with SEMCOG. In fact, the executive director who lives in Troy is a very close friend. We use the SEMCOG data to help inform where are the job clusters in the county. We know where the hospital centers are, where are the people and the most vulnerable, where are people with disabilities that need access to transit. And so SEMCOG was intimately involved in the information that helped shape this actual proposal. Michigan Municipal League hasn't been asked, but I mean, I would encourage you to ask your local officials. Again, this is a proposal that is a lower tax rate. By the end, we'll know this. It's a lower tax rate for not only the same service, for better service, because we eliminate the gaps in service that will be able to connect people to more destinations without any gaps. It's really a countywide proposal. There's another.
Okay, and one more question for David. The Oakland County millage will bring in more monies, around 20 million additional, correct?
20 million additional of beyond SMART.
I'm just.
Okay. All right. I'll fill in the gaps.
Okay, and then it says, what will the extra money be used for?
Great. Again, this gives me opportunity to talk about what the three things are. We fully fund everything that's in place across the county. An additional 20 million is used for expansion improvement of service. So it fills the gaps where there's no service at all, but fills the gaps and improves service in the areas where there is. And then there's another $7 million dedicated for infrastructure improvement. President Biden's Infrastructure Act actually will provide additional $300 million to Michigan to support public transportation. And it will require a local match to be able to draw that, usually about a 20 to 80. match. So we put up 20%, we get 80% match for it. That $7 million is going to be able to draw down that capital match for more vehicles, infrastructure, technology, the kind of the hard assets necessary to support transit. And so that's how the money gets distributed. 20 million for expansion, 7 million additional for infrastructure.
Great. Thank you so much. No, we do have all the questions answered. Again, I would like to thank everyone for attending. I would like to thank Pastor Leclerc for letting us use his facilities here. Oh, you came up with something else? Oh, and I'm supposed to introduce the roundtable board. Everybody stand up so I don't miss you. So right now I'd like to introduce our roundtable board for next year. It will be Paul Leclerc will be our chair. I, Karen Berardi, will be the vice chair. We have Jennifer Cowan is our director. Yeah. We have Jackie Owens, who is our secretary. Our treasurer is Carol Spellman. Our other director is Martha Keogh. And our other director is Gloria Moore. And so again, I'd like to thank everyone. Please go out and vote. Get everyone you can to go out and vote. This is, a right that we all have, and it's very important. So get your family and relatives and some of those young kids who think, I don't need to go. Yeah, they need to go. Thank you so much.